Welcome to the KR Films Entertainment channel. Today we are going to explain of a horror film from 2015 titled Bone Tomahawk. Before we get to the storyline, don't forget to subscribe and like for more movie recaps and have a great day. In the beginning of the film we can see two men committing a robbery. From what is shown, the robber kills all the victim with a slash on their neck. Satisfied with what they got, the two robbers leave the crime scene. By accident, the two men stumble upon a strange area. At first the place seems safe despite the odd ornaments. Then suddenly an arrow hit one of the men from nowhere. This story begins with a pair of married couple named Arthur and Samantha. Arthur, locally more known as Cowboy in a town called Bright Hope, must sit quietly at home due to his leg injury. Luckily Samantha is well versed medically, which is reassuring for Arthur. The scene switched to a bar with there's another cowboy called Brooder. Unlike Arthur, to love to travel to a lot of places including isolated site. It is unsure what type of places he has been in, but from what is shown, Brooder seems to be a humble person. At the same time, the story introduces a sheriff named Franklin and a deputy sheriff named Chicory. When Franklin just about to rest, he receives a report from Chicory of a strange man wandering nearby during this night time. Because of this, he is forced to go to the last reported place where the strange man was seen. Coincidentally, the place is the bar where Brooder is in. Without beating around the bush, Franklin starts asking questions, but the guy isn't cooperating well. Franklin shoots the guy in his leg and take him to the cell. After the incident, Brooder comes to Arthur's house where he asks Samantha to come to the cell for help taking out a bullet. On the restrained stranger's leg, Arthur allows Samantha to go, thinking that it would not take that long despite still wanting her company. At the cell, Samantha began preparing her medical tools while one of Franklin's underlings named Nick accompanies her. At the same time, Franklin and Chicory are about to leave and go back to their home. During the same night, the scene changes to a horse stable and caretaker of it. The man notices something strange is happening when the horses are making unusual noises and go to investigate. When he's checking on one of the horse stables, without able to react to what happened, the man's throat is cut by a mysterious figure. Next morning, when Franklin just about to have his breakfast, a man who is the owner of the horse stable arrive at his home and report that one of his workers was killed horrifically. After listening to that, Franklin and Chicory go straight to the crime scene to witness the aftermath and begin investigating. Much worse, when Franklin goes back to the cell, he finds out that the prisoner from last night had escaped. He realized there seemed to be an arrow that stuck in the wall. Right away, Franklin tells Arthur that Samantha, Nick and a stranger have been missing. Feeling short, Arthur joins a meeting held by Franklin in a bar even though his leg is still injured. Franklin invites a townsmen who have an Indian heritage because Franklin's suspicion is that last night attack was done by an Indian tribe. But the townsmen explain that the arrow isn't owned by any Indian tribe but is actually owned by a nameless tribe that live in the desert. Arthur, tired from not saying anything, asks Franklin whether can he ride a horse to join them. Because Arthur is so enthusiastic, Franklin allows him to join the expedition on one condition, that he doesn't drag the other member down before actually departing for their mission. Each of them asks for consent to join the expedition, either from a wife that's still alive or passed away. And after that, Brutal prepare 3 horses for the men while Arthur wants to ride his own horse. With their sufficient preparation, the 4 of them embark on their journey to find the missing people at the so-called mysterious tribe dwelling. When the sun sets, they need to prepare themselves to rest for the night in the wild. At the same time, they also must keep their guard up for any danger lurking out there. Before they begin resting, Brooder lay down a big string circle. It is tied with bells around their spot as a precaution to have something get close to them. While they are resting, morning arrive and they continue on their expedition without fear of what could possibly be waiting for them. For Arthur, he has something else to worry about other than the danger ahead. His injury seems to be getting worse since they are already far away from their town. Arthur can't turn back right now. He's forced to continue the journey. On the second night, Chicory discusses with Franklin about Arthur's injury. Chicory feels that Arthur won't be able to keep up with the rest of them due to his condition and their objective is still far away. After a short while, 2 men visit their camp which claim to be an adventurer. Right away, Brooder shoots both of the men since he knows for sure that they are robbers. Time passed by and they have to rest for another night. But unfortunately their lack of caution tonight gives opportunity for some thief to steal their horses and run away. This situation is a nightmare pounded with the fact that they are in a desolated desert. All the men lost their horses and have to continue to travel by walking, and even worse for Arthur, who have an injury and his leg. In the end Arthur can't keep up with the other men walking speed, so he asks them to leave a trail of stone for him to follow behind. The men are so far ahead of him that by the time Arthur reached them they have rested for an hour. It's not that the other men are heartless towards Arthur, it's just the cowboy principle said that being getting pity by others is the ultimate form of disrespect. After resting for a few hours, Franklin wake Arthur from his sleep and he realize now that he can't keep on going since there's no other option. Arthur's leg need to have an emergency operation. Luckily Chicory is qualified to perform the operation and he bring with him sedative for Arthur. With whatever they have at the time, Chicory executes the operation at a high speed. After that the other men left Arthur to continue on their journey, but they didn't forget to leave a trail for Arthur to follow after he recover. On the fourth night Franklin ordered the men to keep on walking without rest to save time. Next morning they arrive at a place very near to the nameless tribe dwelling. They notice a traveling path on the ground that is used by the tribe. Unfortunately, not long after they entered the nameless tribe's area, Bruder suddenly got shot by an arrow and the men in the tribesmen begin a chaotic battle. When the situation clear up a bit, Bruder tells Chicory if he used to come at the tribe's area to kill their people. In total Bruder have killed 116 tribesmen. This shines a light on what is the motivation for the tribesmen to kidnap the townspeople. When Franklin and Chicory think that they got away from the tribesmen, other tribesmen catch up to them and relentlessly beat them until they pass out. Despite the beating, they let them clean on their life. The tribesmen carry them into their cave using a rope, and in there can be seen Samantha and Nick, who are being locked behind cages while the stranger who were with them got eaten by the tribespeople. Believing that their time is up, Franklin and Chicory, who just arrived, have to witness the last moment of Nick, which is chosen as the tribe's next meal. The tribesmen take off Nick's clothes, they skin his head while he is still alive and hammer a stick into Nick's go until it goes through. Even more gruesome, Nick's body was turned upside down and one of the tribesmen swing an axe to split the body in half. At the same time Arthur wakes up from a slumber and right away continuing his journey. In a bad condition, Arthur followed the trail left behind by his friends. When he arrives, the tribesmen paid a visit to Arthur, which fortunately for him, due to his skills, he can finish both of them off. Arthur realizes that there is a bone embedded in the tribesmen's throat which they use to communicate. He ripped the thing out of their throat. Arthur tests his assumption by blowing the bone and turns out that by using the bone to lure the tribesmen he can kill them one by one without struggle. In a different scene, the other tribesmen realize that there is a stranger who is killing their people one by one. Taking advantage of the chaos, Franklin begins fighting the tribesmen. Sadly, his action causes his own death, where his stomach got slashed by the tribesmen. The head of the tribe takes Franklin's gun. Even though he doesn't know how to use it, the head tribe shoot Franklin as if he's trying out the gun. Suddenly Arthur show up at their base and Franklin slaughter the head of the tribe until his head fall off. Despite that, Franklin's condition is irrecoverable and will die soon. Franklin decide to stay at the tribe's base to keep fighting the remaining tribesmen while waiting for his death. Arthur was walking out of the base, see two pregnant tribeswomen, which he just leave both of them alone. The reason is because Arthur believed that the tribe won't be disturbing the town again as long as there's nobody disturbed their tribe. At the end of the film, Arthur, Samantha and Chicory hear a gunshot from the tribe's base. That sound is the sound of Franklin's last fight against the tribespeople. And with this movie in